up, everybody? What's going on with the mic? Let's tighten that up. As you can see, it's very bright in this room. I'm actually recording in the middle of the day today. I've been slacking this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, which means absolutely nothing to me. It's been rainy and shit. I've been sitting around, not really doing much. Just had no inspiration of things to talk about. I had a few things, but not enough to really fill out an episode. So I wasn't rushing to the episode this week, because I don't like putting out bad product. And not that I think I always do. I'm just saying, I like to be, feel like, well, I'm not just filling space with a bunch of nonsense, which I guess people could say is that what I do anyway. But let me tell you what has been on my mind here recently. It has gotten hot. Summer is here. Summer's upon us. Summer's here, and it has been like in the 90s. And I was thinking about this. The things that change in your life as you get older. From 20 years ago for me, right? Like, this is the time of year, you riding around in the car, you just shorts and a wife beater, basically. And that was me. That was me. I always had you always wear the wife beater. At some point in my life, I stopped wearing a wife beater. I can't remember exactly when. It was after kids. I was probably late 30s, maybe. Something like that. I stopped wearing the wife beater. Anyway, I did. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's a little bit embarrassing why. The reason is I did not think my body looked the way it should inside of a wife beater any longer. Not that you got to have a six-pack and a physique like a Greek god. I'm just saying, I looked at myself in the wife beater. I started getting the stomach the dad bought and everything. And I was like, this ain't it. I mean, I got the tight wife beater against the stomach that's protruding. And I'm like, this is no good. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to stop wearing the wife beater. So I did. And I've been wearing a wife beater for a while. A handful of years now. At least 5 or 6 years. And I'm going to tell you what I've noticed. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just chilly all the time. Or maybe it's just the way my body works. But my nipples be poking out my shirt. Like, I really don't be noticing as I'm walking around, but then you catch yourself in the mirror. And I'm like, oh shit, why are my nipples poking out my shirt like that? If I had a wife beater on, it would guard against that. But I was like, you know what, fuck it, whatever. And so I got, been going on time. But now I'm getting to the point. I've lost the weight. I've lost 30 pounds. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna. It's time to get back to the wife beater. It's about to be wife beater season for JC right here. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm throwing the wife beater back on. I was shopping for him last night. But yeah, we about to do that. So, and it's also good. When the tea is too hot, you just take that off. You got the wife beater. So I'm gonna tell you, when I'm on many years ago, when I worked at like my first hospital, in the summertime, as soon as I walked out the hospital, everything come off except the wife beater. I'm walking to the parking lot in just a wife beater and scrub pants, basically. People looking at me funny and shit, like, hey, this is what it is. Got tattoos on the arm and shit, whatever. But we're going back to the wife beater. It's going to be JC's wife return to wife beater season. I don't know what that's going to bring me, if anything. But we're getting back to our roots. We are getting back to our roots. But yeah, I'll keep you informed on how that goes for me. I know my nips won't be poking out no more. I know that much now. And the thing of it is, like when I saw the nips poking out, I'm like, is it my nips are like hard and cold and chilly, or is it that I had gained titties? One is better than the other. Okay, one is better than the other. I'd rather not have the titties. All right, if the nipples were just a little protruding a little bit, then fine. It is what it is. Either way, we're gonna snatch all that up with that wife beater. Either way, all right. So look out for me. If you see me in a wife beater, throw your hand up. This is the JC Weekly Podcast, episode 23. Episode 23. Let's get through the socials as we usually do. Instagram JC_Weekly, TikTok JC Weekly Talks, YouTube's under JC Weekly, got the JC Weekly Podcast, of course. All your podcast listening platforms for audio, whatever is Apple Podcast, whatever you may listen to, just JC Weekly Podcast. There it is. I came across a little something on where someone had brought up the conversation about men crying. I thought it was interesting. Like, not generally the topic itself, but what one of the replies was. So the question was, this was from a female. She said, men, like, how often do you cry for whatever reason? I think she was implying that, you cry just to kind of just release whatever's on your shoulders at the moment. One of those things, just get it all out and just cleanse the palate, if I may. And a famous comedian, replied, he said, every day. I found that a little odd. I did find it a little odd. In crying every day. Now, me, myself, I ain't crying every day. I don't understand. You grew up being told, hey, crying don't fix nothing. You know what I'm saying? At least that's what I was told. And inadvertently, I tell my kids that, hey, crying, might as well stop crying right now because it ain't going to change nothing. I understand if you are in a depressive state. I understand if, there's something going on in your life, you're sad about it. Like if you're like manic, depressive, bipolar, some of these things. But if you're not any of these things and you're still crying every day, it's an interesting concept. Like how are you actually like pulling up the tears every day? Sorry, I thought I heard something. But yeah, how are you pulling up the tears every day to like this release out, into the world, whatever's on your shoulders at that moment. Like for myself, I've never been a real emotional person, so I'm not gonna cry a lot. And first of all, we need to qualify what cry is. When I'm talking crying, I mean like, you were crying. I don't mean like tear up because you just watched E.T. That's just tearing up. We're not going to qualify that as crying. I mean like crying where you actually sit down and it just all comes out. All comes out, and whatever that may be. I don't understand crying every day. Like I tried to think about the last time I cried like that, and the reason why I cried, I remembered because it was like a year ago or so. Because my son had to go to the hospital because he was having heart problems, and I was behind the ambulance. And as parents do, we cry for our kids. So that's when I actually cried. But other than that, other than a few watery eyes here and there, from maybe a movie or something, or like, I did speak about that one one time that I did was sitting and like, this emotions kind of came out. It wasn't really crying. Just one saw a little tear. One tear running down the face is not crying. But I'm like, how do you have so much on you where you feel like just like, and I'm not, let me preface this by saying I'm not judging. It's just like, how is there so much to cry about? And also, and maybe it's because I don't do it as the reason why I don't understand how it helps, like getting all that out. Maybe my life would be better if I did. But I don't know how to start. Like, how would you just start and like, okay, this is my time to cry. I'm going to sit here, wherever maybe I'm going to, sit on the couch. This is my time to sit down, reflect, whatever, or lay in bed and do it, cry into a pillow, whatever. However people do they crying. However people do they crying. I don't know how you have so much that it requires an everyday situation. This is an interesting thing for someone to say, oh yeah, I do it every day. And the whole point of the topic was, men are looked at, we're supposed to be tough. We're not supposed to do these things. We're not supposed to cry. That was the point of it and whatnot. And so it was interesting to kind of read through the comments, but that specific one is the one that caught my eye because I don't like, I've got shit going on and I can't say I'm overly happy at the moment, but I'm not unhappy. I'm just not overly happy. I'm just kind of taking life as it is at the moment. Not happy with a lot of things, but it's not enough to like. I guess it's because I'm not an emotional person, but it's not enough for me to like actually just sit and just cry and just feel better about my situation because I cried. And I know plenty of people are going to be like, "Oh, JC, that's." I feel great when I cry again, and I understand that's helpful for you, and I do understand there probably is some healing power within that. I just don't feel like it helps me. But I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say, "Hey, crying every once in a while maybe wouldn't be helpful." I wouldn't be like, hey, let's sit down and just kind of unpack all of these things and just let come out what comes out. But every day, I mean, for all intents and purposes, the person who replied seems to have a great life, but you never know what someone's going through. Oh, he could have a lot of things going on we don't know about because, the entertainers give us front-facing stuff, whatever. They give us what they give us. That's it. And I think that's the way with most people, too. They give you what they give you. You mask a lot. But yeah, I can't see crying every day. Maybe I can understand every once in a while, every 6 months, little something go. But it's interesting. But I am for it. I do think men should be able to express their emotions and not feel like, oh, we have to be these big tough guys and shit like that. And without judgment. But the world is what the world is, so So I saw something, another piece of content. All things just like spark my imagination, spark my thought process as I'm just maneuvering through the internet. I'm an overthinker, and I feel like I always have been. I definitely an overthinker. I will take something and I will think it over and over, and I will create situations or scenarios that possibly could be the thing, and then I stress about that and worry about that, and and it not be the thing. Really, it's just I'm making it more than what it is instead of just letting things be, simple. Just not worrying about it, but that's the way I am. And so I saw someone talking about overthinkers and overthinking, and they basically said it is a form of anxiety. Now, I've never been a person who has suffered from depression or any kind of anxiety, but when I saw that, I thought about it first. I stopped and thought about it. And I'm like, oh, that's true. That's right. It absolutely is a form of anxiety because you definitely, as you're overthinking, then you're getting anxious. Your anxiety goes up about it, which is I don't mind. It is what it is, but it's an interesting revelation for me. Like I never thought of it that way, that it was a form of anxiety. Now I'm not saying that. It's like I need to be on any type of medicine. I mean, I'm fine, but like, how do you get this way? How do you become an overthinker? Like, what happens in your life that makes you, like, for me, it's usually something happens in my life. It usually involves something or someone, most of the time, someone. Say a situation happens, or something is said in a way, or I say something in a way because things come out of my mouth like crazy. And then you think about it afterwards, and you overthink it, and you overthink it, and you overthink. Oh, did it take it this way? Did it mean this? Did it mean that? Blah, blah, blah. And I don't do this other thing because everyone thinks I'm the most laid back person in the world. And generally I am. It's the funniest thing. I am the most laid back person in the world. I don't show a lot of care for a lot of things. I do feel like that's a little bit of masking sometimes. Sometimes it actually is what it is. But the overthinking comes with, especially with people, is when I feel like I like this person or this someone, I don't know how to say it, in my life. I like that. And now something has happened, or something was said, or something was done, or whatever, and that might get taken away. And so I overthink. And it could be little small things. It could be little small things. Like, oh, did I do something? And it's always immediately like self, for me, being such a confident person, it's always immediately self-doubt. Like, what did I do? Was it me? Did I do something? And you start going over situations over in your head over and over and over again. And I'm trying to get better at that. Here recently, I've been actively working on getting better at that, because that is not a way to live. And I've kind of always been that way. And there hasn't been a lot of people in my life where I've kind of got that way. I'm kind of like worried enough about it. Like, oh, it is what it is. And honestly, in the end, like, even though I'm a big overthinker, I'm also one that's a realist. And so after my bout of overthinking, I come to acceptance. And I just accept what it is. And that might cause me anger or sadness, but in the end, I have acceptance. So, and then it starts to be the whole thing of just moving on. So that's like my cycle of things when it comes to my like friendships or relationships or whatever with people. Not healthy though. Not healthy though. Because it definitely causes, like, for that day or two or more, possibly, definitely causes a lot of anxiety, making up, irrational scenarios in your head that, just probably like 99% chance aren't the case, but you've locked into them like, oh, it's this, it's got to be this, and like that right there, like that's torture. That is torture, and so I'm really, really working on and doing better with that. I'm gonna tell you what, I'm hot right now. Hold on one second, I'm gonna turn the air on. All right. And the thing is, the thing I hate about being an overthinker, the thing I hate about being one, like being not an emotional person, I hate being that open and that vulnerable, because once you get into that conversation of like, oh, once it's out that I overthought a situation, right? You're like, you've now let someone know into your mind, into your emotions, vulnerability. And it's almost too honest a little bit sometimes, right? Like depending on who it is, depending on how comfortable I am, and like I'm fine with it, but like it shows a little bit too much honesty. In a way that like, oh, this is how to react in such a way to that kind of situation. You're like, you're kind of showing how you feel about someone before maybe you want to show how you feel about someone, right? Whether it be a friend or I don't know, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. And I don't like, it's you never want to open up the floodgates like right away or too soon, or just letting someone know everything about you like that. As I can say as I've gotten older, I'm more inclined to do that though. Especially recently, I'm more inclined to do that and just be more open and honest with how I feel, even though I still hold back a lot. I know I do. I hold back a lot. But yeah, it's just I need to work on it. I need to do better. I definitely need to do better. Especially now that the realization, oh, it's a form of anxiety and it's not helpful in the end, and like it's not worth like going through days of like days of having fake scenarios in your head. All right. And like I'm also a big like going through conversations in your head, like making up fake ones. I'm a big one of those guys too. I can be driving and I'll have fake conversations going on between myself and someone else in my mind, and I'll be saying it out loud. Like I think I'm a little bit crazy. I could be crazy. I don't know. It's a tough call. Honestly, I think it's a Pandora's box is just opening up as I'm getting older, and I think it's the willingness. I think it's the willingness to want to be more honest after living a life that maybe it wasn't so honest. I think that's a lot of it. I think some of the overthinking also is sometimes things feel like they're out of your hands. And I know they say you should just worry about what you control, not what you can't control. And that's absolutely true. And I think that's why I'm able to still be the realist and have the acceptance. It just is what it is. I'm angry about this. It bothers me, but I can't control this. But no, it's I've gotten to a point. I think I'm being more open and more honest with myself and others. Yeah, it's tough though. It's tough. It's tough. Because I definitely hate being an overthinker, and I often wonder, like, how do you turn out that way? How do you turn into an overthinker? Um, there's a thing that I often go back to, often think about a lot. I feel like not a lot, but I often remember this. I think I've said on this podcast, I was a mama's boy when I was a kid. Very much a mama's boy. So I was with my mom all the time. I was laid up on her, whatever, just lovey-dovey shit. Not so much my dad. My dad, and I've always said my dad's a hard man, but not so much my dad. And there was a time, I don't know how old I was. There was a time that my mom let me know that my dad wasn't sure or thought. He questioned if I loved him or not. I guess because I wasn't, showing him the same thing I was showing my mom because I was a mama's boy. And that made me so sad. It made me so sad. And it still makes me sad. And because I remember being told, I don't know why I was even fucking told, Mom, why are you telling me that as a child? That made me have to deal with this shit. I remember going out to the swing and crying. And just sitting and crying because I didn't want him to feel like I did love him. I did love him. That was out of my hands. The way he felt, kinda. I guess we just, at that moment, I kind of hadn't, I loved him, but, we hadn't, I was still a mama's boy. We haven't connected on that level yet, really. I guess. I don't know. I can always remember playing with my dad. But anyway. I often think back to that and is this the start of the overthinking? You as a kid, someone thinks you don't care about them the way you should or do. And how do you show that? Is that the start of the overthinking for me, maybe? I don't know. I don't know why I overthink so much. And I grew up to be such a laid back person, but then had this little spot of anxiety. I'm so laid back. And for a long time, generally, I didn't care about much anything. I just don't and I say that loosely because I've always said I don't care, but it's a bit of a mask. No one just doesn't care about anything. It is that's a lie. But generally, I've just been, I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation, the thing, the person, whatever. What you feel their value is to your life, and if you are willing to not have any more. Because the thing is, I think about friends I've had, really, really close friends I've had over the years, and now we're kind of not. And it's not because we are angry with each other. It's kind of life is life, and we kind of moved on. I don't overthink about that, which is weird. And I think it's because it was just a natural progression. I don't know. Anyway, please, if anyone's an overthinker like myself, or experiences any of these things, or they cry, or please let me know down in the comments. I'd like to hear about it. I woke up at I went to bed at 11, woke up at 2, didn't go to bed till 4. I was just up. And so I happened to see this and it was on my mind and I was thinking about it. So I'm glad I was able to sit down and talk about it. But this has been the JC Weekly Podcast. Please follow me in all the places, like all the things. And until next time, peace.